have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, radical personal transformation, whole life prosperity and success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be.
And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be, wherever you are in the world. When you hit that play button, so glad you did. You have found another episode of the Genesis frequency, and this is Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna coming at you. And we want to move it right along here because we want to continue to move the needle in our lives, whether you want to move the needle in your life personally or perhaps professionally in your small business as an entrepreneur, or in your professional environment, in your corporate environment, on your corporate team. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're in the boardroom, the front room, wherever you are in the organization, the concepts, the strategies, the ideas presented here will make a difference in your life and in your organization's life, culture, well-being, whatever you want to call it. Today's kind of exciting. We're moving on. We've been talking about the intangible aspects of character. We've been talking about your superpowers, and we did that over 5 episodes. So I really think it's time to move on, but not to dismiss those or diminish their importance, because it's so very important on this positive path for personal and professional development that we're all on, that we continue to work on us, right? That's what it's all about. That's why you're listening to a show like this. So we want to always make sure that we're on guard, that we're noticing what our thoughts are. And as I move through all those different superpowers, faith, strength, wisdom, and love, and power, and imagination, and understanding, and will, in order and enthusiasm, in the ability to release and let go, and life with an uppercase L, and thanksgiving and forgiveness and memory and intuition and perception and all those. It's important that those are integrated into your thought process, into the words that you speak, and into the actions that you take. You were invited to build yourself affirmative statements, to be conscious of exercising all those qualities that are inherent within you. And the reason we're moving on from this and we want to just touch on those and be reminded of those is because I want to point again to something that is so very, very important, something that matters above all else, really, when it comes to making a change in your life. And I talk about this often because that's what this show is all about. And it's those paradigms, those things. Sometimes those can be nasty. Sometimes those can just lead us in the wrong direction when we want something more in our lives. What are paradigms? Paradigms are a multitude of habits that have almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior, and almost all of our behavior is habitual. And so we have to constantly do the work to identify what they are, because most of us don't even know what they are. We operate as unconscious competence. We operate from on an autopilot program, right? We're just on cruise control through life. And that habitual behavior delivers to us the same results over and over and over and over and over again. I often say, we can change maybe a little bit, and maybe that change will last, I don't know, maybe a day, a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month. The boss calls you in the office. It's one way to change the paradigm, by the way. Emotional impact. The boss calls you into the office. Henderson, get in here. Look at these sales numbers. They stink. You got to do it or you're out. So Henderson, what does he do? He buckles down. He puts his nose to the grindstone. He was emotionally impacted. So he starts to make some changes in his habitual behavior that make a difference and impact the bottom line. See, he's being at cause. But before long, Henderson falls back into the same old habits of call reluctance, of doing things the same old way because we're all creatures of habit. So we have to change those paradigms, but we can't change them unless we identify them. And the first thing to do is just to know that we all have paradigms. And I don't care what coaching program you're in, I don't care who you listen to, what book you read, it's all about the paradigms. It's all about the paradigms because it's the way we're wired. We're all wired into habitual behavior, and it comes from a multitude of different places. Some of it we're even born into. It's in our genetics, and then we're just this empty vessel that has input poured into it from the moment we leave the womb. And again, really, even before that. Now, listen, there's a first on this show. I have a show here, the Genesis frequency that you're listening to. And I have never, ever had a guest on this show. Never. And that all changes today. You often hear me talk about the company, Success Ocean, successocean.com. And I talk about the training that we do for individuals, for small businesses, for corporations. And I talk about the woman that I do this with, and her name is Tené. And today, yes, today, for the first time, I not only have a guest on the show, I have Tené on the show, my partner, who is involved right now in another paradigm shift event. Just got done being involved with that this morning, the day that I'm recording this show. And I said, hey, it's about time we do this together, right, Tené?
Yes.
And I invited her, hey, let's do it now. Let's come on out. Let's do this show together. She's been involved, really excited because she put out a video this morning and I was listening to it. I didn't even know she was going to do it. And I caught it live via technology. And I'm going, oh man, she is on fire. Got me excited. And so, hey, tell us a little bit about what it was like. I mean, we've been working with people for years on, I think the biggest thing is yeah, shifting, changing the paradigm. But I think the biggest thing is noticing what they are and identifying them. So what did you get out of this event this morning? And tell us a little bit about the whole process of paradigms, identifying them and going about the exercises that can help us change them.
Oh my goodness. Well, where do I start? How
Well,
much
just say
time?
hello to everybody. Start
Hello,
there.
everybody. Nice to meet all of you. This is really, really an honor for me to be invited on the show, to be able to be here with you and to grow with you on this journey called life. And I'm just going to dig right in. Yes, today was the big paradigm shift. And I'm sure Stephen has told you a million times over what a paradigm is. Baseline, it's a blueprint of you, of the things that you do, the things that you like, the things of why you behave the way you behave. And it was magnificent because it yet again reignites that interest, that curiosity within me to know more about me and how I can navigate this life even in a better way than I have already.
Yeah, it's really all about doing this thing called life. I'm glad you brought that up in a more effective, in a more efficient way.
Hmm.
See, if we can get people, and I spent a good part of the beginning of this year helping people to identify what it is they really want, because that's That's half the battle, and the paradigms are probably the other half. The rest of the stuff's easy. It's just showing up every day, really. But if we've identified what we wanted, and most people have, hopefully at this point, if they're regular listeners to the show and they're some of our clients and some of the people that we work with, we get so far.
Hmm.
Unless, of course, they're working with me and you, right? But we get so far. If we're doing this on our own and we don't know about paradigms, we set a goal maybe at the beginning of the year, anytime. You can set a big dream goal anytime. But we set that goal and we really, really want it. We got the right goal. We did the work. We identified our why. We have that dream and we've built it out looking at the specifics. We've created the image and the vision in our mind using the power of our imagination. We start our journey in the direction of that dream, and things go well, and then we notice nothing's happening. Well, I don't see it. We start to buy into the negative self talk. What happens? Well, the paradigm kicks in. We get excited. That enthusiasm will take us so far, but most people don't let themselves move past a stumbling point when they come to it. They say, "Oh, yeah, I've been doing this. I've been thinking about this dream. I've been affirming it. I've been writing it out. I've been holding the vision. I've been visualizing every day. You told me not to worry about the how, but here I am 3 months later, and I don't seem to be any closer to it."
Or 3 years later.
Yeah, and I've talked to a few people that it's been 10 years,
Hmm.
10 years since I started doing this work, and I'm sure it was a lot longer in their lives. Same place, not only the same place, but the same story.
Mm,
Just
yes.
lost my job, just ended the relationship that I was in. Same individual too, by the way, that they were in a relationship with. Still broke, still not happy, can't find that joy, and on and on and on it goes. And people don't realize that it's the habit. We see people in relationships. There's three main areas that people really look at in their lives. It's that time and money freedom.
Hmm.
It's the loving relationships or the improvement of those relationships that they want to have, and it's health and physical fitness. But here's a way you can relate this. You look at somebody that was in a relationship or in a marriage, right, Tanae, and you see them in another relationship, maybe a year or two later. And haven't you often said, maybe even amongst your friend, that looks just like her first husband.
Yes,
That looks just like his first
that's
wife.
right. You see it
Y-
all of the time. It's like, wow, he or she went for the same person, kind of, sort of.
Well, that's the paradigm pressing out.
That's a great example.
And we
Absolutely.
talk about that all the time, but we don't realize how we are governed by this habitual behavior. So we really have to pay attention to it. I don't know of anyone that has accomplished anything great without changing something in a positive way that they've been doing in a habitual negative way. Do you?
Exactly.
I
No,
mean,
it,
go
it's a
ahead.
must. It's a paradigm. It's a blueprint. No matter how much money you have, no matter how far you think you've gotten in life, no matter how much you think you've succeeded at X, Y, and Z, you still have something to change. If you get to a point where you think, ah, no, I'm good. I don't need anything else. That means you really need to take a look at yourself because we are spiritual beings. We're meant to grow. That's just what we do. When you really want to change your paradigm, you first have to just really decide or make a list if you have to of 1,000 things, if it is, of that you want to change. Because even if you think you're doing the same one thing very well, and we're going to take coffee, for example, maybe you know how to make coffee. You've been making coffee for 95 years and you know how to do it blindfolded. You know how to do it in your sleep. Well, you know what? There are other ways of making it, right, Stephen?
Oh boy, we don't want to go down that road. First
So
time Trinae tried to make me coffee,
we
it
won't
was
talk
not
about that
pretty.
right now. But anyway, a paradigm is just that you have to identify something that you want to change in your life, not someone else's life, not something someone else wants you to change, unless you're changing it because you realize it's causing some discomfort to someone else that you're wanting to be around, you know that you should probably make that change, then identify it. After you identify it, then start to really be honest with yourself about the obstacles that are coming up in your way, that you're feeling like you can't seem to get over that hump. Why can't you? And then find
It's time to really step back
it
and
is.
observe. And we don't mean to be really self-critical. We're our own worst critics. You do enough of that all the time. But just to kind of step back, take a breath and observe. What am I doing every day on a regular basis? What am I doing? See, everybody's calling in already. They
Yes.
want to talk to you.
Yes, we'll be off shortly.
But the thing is, you want to observe and you want to make note. What are my habitual behaviors throughout the course of my day? What am I dedicating? How much time am I dedicating to consistent daily efforts or revenue generating activity or moving in the direction of the life I would love to live? And so many people find that they're really getting in their own way. And why is this so important? Well, first of all, we're governed by these behaviors, by these paradigms. I love the way T. Harv Eker has described it, and how our mentor, who's doing the paradigm shift event posthumously, I should add. Uh, I love how T. Harv Eker puts this in a quote I have on my desk. He says, "Your programming leads to your thoughts. Your thoughts lead to your feelings. Your feelings lead to your actions. Your actions lead to your results. Therefore, just as it is done with a personal computer, by changing your programming, you take the first essential step to changing your results. It's all in the programming." You hear me say over and over and over on this show, thoughts plus feelings plus actions equals results. So we have to start somewhere. And we're starting with thought. But what we haven't really done, other than talking a little bit about paradigms, really just scratching the surface on them, is is to take a really good look at
Hmm.
where is the thought generated from. We have a thought. Where is that coming from? So we're going to take a look at over the next few episodes, as we're winding this time up together, we're going to take a look at thoughts, and we're going to take a look at this from the perspective of being somewhat abstract, and realizing that there's three areas when it comes to knowing. We're going to blend in a little bit of the knowing doing gap here too. There's what we know and what we know we know. There's what we know, what we there's what we know we don't know, and then there's what we don't know that we don't know. So if we have these three areas here and we start thinking about thought, and we're tying this in with our paradigms and our behavior, because thought can be habitual, right? Our thoughts are habitual. We have to take a look at what even precedes thought.
Hmm.
And that's what this is all about. And that's why I wanted you to come in tonight and do this for the first time. And this is a little bit, and this is new for me too, having someone do the show with me. But it's so important because we talk about the law of attraction, and we teach that, and we teach that attraction is an effect. And most people don't even realize that. The
Hmm.
law of attraction, law of attraction. I want to learn the law of attraction. I want to apply I tried the law of attraction and it doesn't work, right? Why not? Well, the paradigm's in the way, right? The attraction is an effect. It's not the cause.
Exactly.
You have to understand cause. You have to understand the laws that precede the law of attraction. We live in a cause and effect universe, and we have to get to thought, and we have to understand that there are some elements that precede thought, that feed mind, that we apprehend and build our thoughts around. So we have to recognize where the thoughts are coming from. And most of those paradigms, by the way, they're coming from where? They're coming from the world around us.
Mhm.
Besides, let's set aside the DNA, the genetics, and all that for right now. But the input from the world around us,
Hear, see, smell, taste, and touch.
sense consciousness is what that is, and race consciousness. And
It
we're
is
talking about,
collective.
yeah, we're not talking about, color, origin, ethnicity, or anything about that. It's the race in general. In fact, there's a little bit of that in
Human
the
race.
news right now
Hmm.
with what's going on at some of the networks about herd mentality. Somebody
Hmm.
mentioned something about herd mentality, but that's what race consciousness is. Not only the herd, what is the herd thinking, the population in general, but the cumulative total of the herd prior to where we are on this historical journey. So all these elements enter into it. And how do we stand guard today? What are you taking out of the material we teach and the program?
Affirmations. Being mindful of what I'm listening to, what I'm looking at, who I'm around, because sometimes you can be somewhere and no one's speaking, but the energy is so loud. You heard that phrase,
Yeah,
silence is so loud? Well, the energy can be so loud even if no one is saying a word. I'm very mindful. I'm very careful. And if I find that all of a sudden I think something's starting to seep in, then it's time to go to work on myself.
yeah, for sure. And I saw uh, just a couple of words put together in the right way that really sums that up. And it said, consciousness is contagious.
Mm.
And it really is. And you can really look at that as energy is contagious. You say that all the time when you walk in a place, right? Oh, I love the energy in this store. I love
Mhm.
the energy in this theater. I love the
Mhm.
energy at this concert. I love the energy in this room, at this spiritual center, at this church, in the yoga class, whatever it is. You can feel that. And Tené specializes in that feeling is the secret. We'll talk more about that moving forward. We're going to talk more about this input that instigates and input, or I should say, instigates and impacts and influences our thought, because I think that's so important to, as you say, Tanae, stand guard. You realize we're out of time already?
No, no
It,
way.
it really flew by, but we're going to wrap it up for today. It's fun doing this together. You want to do it again?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. We'll do it again. We'll come back on here. I want to remind you that you can reach out and talk to us, have a conversation with us. This is open to any listener to this show. The consultation is free. We love talking about your dreams, your hopes, your desires. We do that with people all over the world. Just have a conversation, and we can help you identify what some of those paradigms are, what those stumbling blocks are. We can help you identify what's been getting in the way and send you on your way with a strategic map to move in a positive direction towards your dreams, hopes, goals, and desires. So do that. Go to successocean.com, say hello to Tanae, learn a little bit more about her. There's some forms you can fill out on there to tell us more about you or your company, and we can design a workshop, come in and do some speaking or some training if you'd like to take it that far. Or you can work one-on-one with either of us. Reach out to me, go to successappointment.com, or you can go to Tene.vip. That's Tene, not VIP, to make appointment with Tené and talk about your hopes, wishes, dreams, and desires. And again, we do this for small businesses, for individuals, for corporations. Reach out. And don't forget, if you love personal and professional development the way I do,
The way
and
we do.
the way I do and the way Tené does, you can make this a living. You can join the computer and cell phone lifestyle. Check out a video that Tanae and I recently posted at successocean.biz and learn a little bit more about that. Successocean.biz. For right now, we're going to call it a wrap, Tanae. That's it. You've been listening to the Genesis Frequency, and this is Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna, wishing you an infinitely spectacular day. God bless you.